Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome to a first impressions video on several vehicles. The first one is the Ju 88C-6, which is a medium bomber, dive bomber, frontline bomber, but for all intents and purposes will be mostly used as a heavy fighter because it has not just three 7.92mm MG17s with 1500 rounds, but also three 20mm cannons, MGFFMs and MGFFs. And, you know, that's a decent firepower. Furthermore, it has a cockpit, but it seems like to be like a placeholder cockpit. And as I mentioned, used as a heavy fighter, it has the benefit of having an air spawn, which it really needs. It's, for all intents and purposes, still a medium bomber chassis, so to speak. And what it also needs is upgrades for the guns, because the 20mm stock belts are horrible. They have no high explosive shell in them. They have two incendiary shells and one armor piercing high explosive shell. But as you can see, the damage output is not the greatest against those two Catalinas, at least the first one. Let's see how I can do against the second one. One thing that I have to point out is that this thing can take damage for days. I was shot at by a lot of planes, and I also tried to shoot down my enemy Ju 88s. That was a pilot kill, I'm pretty sure. And they can take so much damage, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Overall, the handling when being stock is not the finest, but again, it's a stock vehicle. And overall, the battle rating is not too bad either. 2.7 is a nice battle rating in my opinion, especially when you consider it that this plane fits in the same matter as the Do 217 Night Fighter variants. A lot of people might fall for the trick that they think it's a medium bomber without any armament, and then they face this in a head-on and get destroyed. And as I mentioned, this plane can take damage, although when you take wing damage on one side, it's really not very nice to maneuver in. To be honest, quite impossible at a certain degree, and this might be the trick to kill this plane. But it is a nice addition, although I think 50 kilogram bombs, they might just tell you why this plane really might perform better in the heavy fighter role. And that was the second kill, so quite a nice result there, and I think I end the battle around about now. This was the main showcase of our first impression. I like it, but it's not a game changer. But still a nice addition. And it's limited to just to those 50 kilogram bombs. So could be worse, could be better, but I think it fits in the heavy fighter role. Then the next plane. A plane that I kind of didn't expect to see. It's the Hampton Tb Mark 1, and indeed we see two Hamptons in this patch. They are in the similar folder, and there is not too much difference between them. But I have to say, for 1.7 battle rating, those planes are quite nice. I present you the Tb Mark 1 and not its predecessor because there is one funny thing about it. The last ordnance upgrade, so to speak, is a single torpedo and two bombs. And when we have a look at the torpedo at the moment, it is a not too good torpedo. It's the Mark 12, as I mentioned. It is 1,550 pounds. The drop speed is 281, which is normally not too good, but it's a slow plane all around on normal speed. Not too slow, but yeah. Then it also has two 500-pound bombs with the last upgrade, so it might be really a nice plane to see in combined ship arms later on. It has a nice decent firepower in terms of defensive firepower. The offensive is just a single 7.7 with a limited amount of ammunition, just 300 rounds. Yeah, that's not the selling point. Although there is a second bomb load that is highly interesting, and it is 4 1,000 pound bombs. At 1.7, that's a mighty punch in my opinion, and it might be the reason that this plane might get a good result in, or it might get good results in tank RB. So that's the Hampton. Again, it can take a little bit of punishment. I'm not sure if it is down to a new buff to the bombers or those planes were that durable. The Hampton itself looks kind of funny. As you can see, it has kind of a similar body shape in certain parts to the German Do 17s. Also quite low tier bombers. And yeah, a nice plane to fly. Again, no game changer whatsoever. And that brings us to the next vehicle. And that is the Chiri. The Chiri is the first Japanese tank that I want to present you. And it is not a very good one in that. It is a 5.0 battle rating, rank 3 Japanese medium tank. And it might have been the game changer that we all wanted, or some of us wanted, because it features an autoloader. Autoloader mechanism are in itself nothing new to War Thunder. All the aircraft basically have autoloaders, and there are also some aircraft with auto-loading 75mm guns. We have, for example, the German Duck, the Henschel 129B3 with the 75mm gun, or some B-25 variant of the Americans in the naval support role. It also features 75mm, and also all the other aircraft technically have some kind of autoloaders, or although I guess they are designated as heavy machine guns. Also, all the AAAs in the game are technically autoloaders. However, nothing in this kind of caliber. I think the closest that you can expect is the Russian heavy AAA, the ZSU 57-2, although I have to say it is quite different. You have just 3 rounds in one belt, and the reload rate is around about 30 seconds stock. And even in my configuration, it's around about 26 seconds. So after those 3 shells, yeah. But I have to say the penetration is really good, 145mm, high explosive high explosive filling, sorry about this, is also pretty decent with around about 63 grams, if I remember correctly. It does the job. And I think the main advantage is, for example, for range finding, that you have a second round very quickly in the barrel before the enemy can react. And you also can make those quick succession shots. However, you sadly can't reload when you have one shot left, so you have to waste the shell somewhere, which might give you a position away, and then you also can reload, and that takes a while. As you can see, the reload is really hefty. Sadly, the 37mm gun is no real game changer, like for example on the American M6A1, although the damage effect is really nice. One major problem is the pathetic maneuverability. The mobility itself is not bad, but the maneuverability is really bad. I mean, the reverse gear is good and all that. And in conjunction with the weak armor and the very bad survivability, especially in conjunction with that there is also an ammo bug, so even if you take out all the ammunition, it is still displayed in the tank. 120 rounds for the 75mm seems to be a very high amount, and I just take around about 30 shells in total with me. However, still all the ammo racks except one small one in the back of the turret is still there, which is a major drawback. Same goes for the 37 that just can fire forward like the machine gun, so you have no machine gun to spot for the turret, which is in my opinion a major drawback. I think this tank will be better with upgrades. However, in this current state, I think it's not anything game breaking. I also managed to waste a complete magazine into a T-34-85, and he bounced every single shot. Yeah, so it can help you out sometimes, but overall it's too there are too many drawbacks to be a real game changer. But it might be a relatively unique vehicle for those who search for relatively unique vehicles. That's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this Christmas first impressions video. I didn't have the time to get the footage for a proper tank review, although I want to have a look at the Walker Bulldog and also the M4A3 because I have the American counterparts and there seemed to be nothing different except for the M4A3, which has a 0.3 lower battle rating. I don't know why. We will see if it will be changed. Another fun vehicle is the Soki AAA from the Japanese. It's a bit derpy, but it is fun and fast. And so I think the first impression for the Japanese tech tree overall is quite decent, I guess, but nothing game changing. It might change at higher tiers, but I didn't have the time to unlock everything because I don't have the money to waste at this. So that's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a nice Christmas and also a nice time with your family. And if you don't like your family, get over it. It's just a few hours. And jokes aside, that's it for me today. So see you in the skies and on the battlefields of War Thunder.